Something I've been thinking about lately is personal integrity. Can you trust yourself? Do you honor your own word? I was talking to my mom the other day and she said that I have exceptional self control. And I was like, really? I have exceptional self control? Now, she would know. She's a therapist. She sees a lot of people. She watches a lot of people struggle with self control, incorporating new positive habits and breaking bad habits. So, if she says that I have exceptional self control, then probably have to believe her. But what stands out to me are the areas where I'm falling short. So, this is just negativity bias. We tend to see the negative, see the bad things. So I only see all the areas where I'm not doing what I said I was going to do, where there are habits that I'd like to incorporate and be consistent with that I'm just falling short. That's the stuff that I see that stands out to me. So it's hard for me to see myself as somebody with exceptional self-control. But when I look back over the years, I think yeah, actually, I see what she's saying. If I get an idea in my mind that I'm going to accomplish something, I become very determined. I have kind of excelled in areas where people really typically give up. One example is diet. I am pretty good at counting calories and sticking to a certain caloric limit that I set for myself, but I don't think that's come naturally. I actually struggled with sort of mild overeating for most of my life. It was only when I was in my mid-30s when I kind of, made the shift and became more disciplined in that area. And now I feel like it's really easy and natural to eat the right amount. I think a huge piece of that puzzle is getting consistent with exercise, because something changed with my hormones when I started exercising regularly, specifically running, that the mechanism in my brain that tells me that I'm full is more sensitive. Before I was a runner for most of my life, I didn't really even have that mechanism. There was nothing that told me to stop. Some people when they're eating and there's a little voice that says stop, I'm full. And I never had that until I was a exerciser. So I think it has something to do with brain chemistry and physiology. But I also, over the years, have become more and more disciplined. When my mom said that, I kind of was taken aback, because there's one thing that I've been struggling with over the last few years. Maybe 3 years ago, my partner and I really got into whiskey and scotch, and we loved tasting all the different scotches, and we are just, huge whiskey fans. And it came too much of a regular habit, like daily drinking. We'll drink whiskey every day. And I'm really little. I'm only 5 feet tall, but I can put back 4 shots a night consistently. And that's a lot. So a shot is 1.5 ounces. So 1.5 times 4. That's a lot for somebody who's only 5 feet tall to drink every single day. There's nothing wrong with drinking, but drinking that consistently daily, that's not good. You add on top of that the detail that I'm also counting my calories. So I will sometimes count those 4 shots of whiskey as calories, but they're not food. That is not nutrition. So I might eat 1,700 calories in a day, but so many of those calories are just whiskey. That's not healthy. So I don't feel like I'm out of control with it, but I just sort of worry about that nutrition piece, and also the fact that, regular drinking can increase your risk of cancer, and also, you could possibly have kind of a fatty liver without really realizing it. Maybe you don't have a lot of symptoms yet, but if you got your liver tested, you could have kind of a fatty liver. And that's just not me. That's out of character. I'm a pretty healthy person. And the other issue is quality of sleep. When you drink whiskey, you fall asleep pretty easily. But for me, I always wake up around 2 a.m. and I'm sweating. It makes me sweat at night as my body is metabolizing the alcohol. And then I'm kind of wakeful. I don't think I'm getting the best quality of sleep. And I notice when, I take some days to not drink, that I sleep a lot better. I don't buy whiskey. It's not something that I want to spend my money on. My partner buys it and brings it home. And so, we've been working on that, and he's been agreeing to not buy it sometimes. And so we'll go through stretches where, we're pretty good, but then we'll think oh, well, let's just have it once a week. But then sometimes when things get really stressful for one or both of us, then, it just that once a week can kind of grow back into more. So pretty consistently over the last 3 years, drinking every day. So when my mom said that, she thought of me as a person with self-control, then it kind of shifted my thinking to my identity as a person with self-control. Every time I wake up in the morning and I think, oh, I'm not going to drink tonight. But then I get to the afternoon and the cocktail hour rolls around and I just want to. It seems so harmless, to have some drinks. And I like to do some journaling and brainstorming when I'm drinking and, just relax into the evening. So then by doing that, I've said that I didn't want to drink. In the morning I said that. And then in the evening, I'm going against my own word. And every time you do that, you are eroding your own trust in yourself, your own integrity. You are actually eroding your self-worth because you've decided, I want to do this thing because I'm worth it, because I love myself, because I'm valuable. But then you go against it. And if you do that over and over again, then you are just sending this message to your subconscious that you don't actually value yourself. And so I kind of shifted my perception to, oh, I am a person with self-control. I kind of forgot. And I realized that I was doing that, making a commitment and then eroding my own word. And as soon as I realized that, it was so easy to not drink. And it's so easy now to have it around. It's in the house. And, day after day, I don't have a drink at 5 p.m. But then sometimes I do. I feel pretty balanced with it. As I mentioned, I do love whiskey. So, I don't really want to be an alcoholic who can never drink again. So I feel really balanced and comfortable with it now that, I can go day after day without drinking. And then if I decide, wow, I worked really hard all week. Yeah, I would like to relax and unwind with a drink. Then when I drink, I'm not drinking 4 shots, just having a shot or two and feeling that relaxation and just loving and appreciating the whiskey, but not needing it and not allowing it to be so habitual. I heard something in a book that I was reading. It's Robin Sharma. It's called the 5 a.m. Club. I recently discovered Robin just last week, maybe through YouTube. He has these short motivational videos that I'm really enjoying. And so then when I got my Audible credits for the month, I looked him up on Audible and I saw that he'd written a book called the 5 a.m. Club. And I'm just almost at the end of that book now. But he says something pretty intense in the book. There's a point where he says, procrastination is self-hatred. That's a really rough way to put it. That's a really punchy comment. But it just really kind of fell in line with what I was already thinking. That it's really important if you say you're going to do something to actually do it. And that takes practice. So another thing that it's really important to do is set reasonable goals. Be easy with yourself. Set an easy goal that you can achieve and then achieve it and then reward yourself. And then you become someone who honors your word. That becomes your identity. And then you set another goal, maybe something a little bit more challenging, and you accomplish that. And then that just sort of adds to your own credibility. You start to believe that you are a person who honors your word. You follow through on the things that you commit to. So that's kind of a harsh way to say it. Procrastination is self-hatred. I've also been reading a lot of Jordan Peterson lately, and he says it in a little bit softer way. He's saying basically the same thing in a softer way. He says, look at all the chaos in your life and pick one thing that you should do that you would do and do it right now and then reward yourself. If you're living in complete chaos and your life isn't working, you have to start somewhere. So if your house is really messy and it's overwhelming, pick one thing, even if it's just like matching the socks in the big scary laundry basket of mismatched socks. Just, match the socks. Do that one thing and then reward yourself. Have a latte or take a bath or something, some little thing that is worthwhile. And another thing that Jordan Peterson says is that after you match those socks and you've promised yourself that you're going to have a latte, you better give yourself the latte. Because if you don't, then you're not going to trust yourself. There's going to be this little voice in your head saying, but you said that if we matched the socks, we could have a latte. What happened? Where's my latte? Why can't I have my latte? Where's my prize? So it's very important that you follow through with the rewards. But I really like that. And I've been thinking also a lot about how much your self-identity, self-perception has to do with changing your habits. Because I remember when I didn't used to run for my whole life. I never exercised consistently. When I was 37, I started running, and now it's extremely consistent. I run 4 to 5 times a week. I've also incorporated strength training, and I'm just, I'm more aware of my body and in my body, and that's been so extremely valuable for me. Where that started was one year, it was kind of a New Year's resolution thing. I was saying this to one of my clients. I said, this year, I'm going to become a jock. I want to be someone who loves exercise. I want to somehow become someone who craves it. And something that happens with habits when you practice them consistently, it becomes so automatic and you prefer them. You prefer the habit. So for me, if I had an injury or, there were some unforeseen circumstances and I couldn't run, I kind of feel like I'm crawling out of my skin. It drives me mad. So I became a jock. I became someone who loves to exercise, somebody who prefers it, and somebody who feels sort of out of sorts and lost without it. So I think that's a good way to think about habits. If you're sort of sedentary and overweight and you think, ugh, I have to lose weight this year. I'm so disappointed in how I look. I've got this muffin top rolling over my jeans. If things keep going at this rate, then I'm going to have to buy bigger jeans. I don't want to do that. That's a lot of negativity and kind of self-hate kind of talk. I hate myself. I'm such a slob. But if you kind of reframe that and you say, I want to be someone who's healthy. I want to be someone who makes healthy choices. It's just reframing it enough that I think that's where lasting change comes from, when you shift your identity. So anyway, that is what I've been thinking about lately. And if you have not read the works of Jordan Peterson or Robin Sharma, I will put links in the description to some books that are amazing. And also you can find both of them on YouTube. And a lot of times when I'm sitting here working, like I'm making these little clay succulent plants. So I wanted to see if I could do it. So that's what I'm doing today. And I also started throwing pots again recently. I haven't thrown pots in over 10 years. And so I'm making these little pots to put these in for little Christmas gifts. But while I'm doing this craft work, that's the kind of stuff that I watch. I'm watching, educational videos, inspirational stuff, or videos that are teaching me a new skill. Another thing I was listening to earlier is this marketing. I'm a massage therapist. It's a program that teaches you, advanced marketing skills. So anyway, that's boring. But that's what I was listening to while I'm making this stuff. So I'm a huge fan of just enriching myself, watching that kind of thing while I'm eating lunch or, while I'm doing these relaxing crafts. And then there are also times when I need to just watch a sitcom. I really love that stuff too. I need to just take a vacation and watch something funny or, watch stand-up comedy or something. So it's all about the balance. That's what I'm doing today. I hope you guys are well. I'll see you next time.